Hi, I'm Alexis with Chakrity, and today I want to talk with you about how to stop lashing out. So, if you are somebody that finds yourself struggling with getting into spaces of rage or frustration or resentment or fill in the blank, whatever the energy is, and maybe it starts to get pent up, and maybe then it cools down a little bit, and then it starts to get more heated, and then it cools down a bit, and then something happens and you just snap and you lash out. So chances are, oftentimes we lash out at those that we are closest to, that happen to be in our close vicinity. So in order to shift out of that lashing out reaction, which from an energetic perspective often happens when we get triggered. So let's talk a little bit about that. If you feel like you are working through some anger, you feel a lot of energy that's pent up, and you're having a hard time with what to do when you get to a space where you just feel completely and totally triggered and you want to lose your mind on the person that triggers you, then let's rewind that. So rather than, if you follow that line of energy of lashing out, maybe it comes from one of the lower energy centers, and then it starts to get really charged and amp up. And then oftentimes what will happen is it will create a flare at the throat chakra. And then using the voice as a vehicle, we will project that energy out at the throat, and using language and words as a way to express that heated energy. So we get that anger out, that heated energy, that charged energy out through the vehicle of the throat that projects that energy out using sound. So can you connect with where it is that energy, we'll just say anger, is coming from at the lower energy center? And even more, in a more dialed in way, can you connect with what that specifically is? So is there something specific that you connect with at the sacral chakra, for example, that when you get triggered, you can feel that energy start to build? Maybe it's insecurity, it could be self-worth, it could be anything at all. You can feel that energy build, charge, get heated up, and then project forward. So how can you shift from just continuing with that reflex? Well, awareness. And I know for those of you who've been working with me for some time, I know this is probably something that gets tiring to hear over and over again, but it is so huge. It is so huge. Truly, the awareness of what is happening in your energy, when you can connect with that, you can shift anything. You can shift it. So instead of lashing out at somebody because you got all of this pent up energy, connect with backtrack. So if you're lashing out at the throat, backtrack. What's the sensation that you feel at the throat chakra right before you say that thing and you lash out at that person? What's that sensation? Then where is that coming from? What do you feel at the heart before it rises up to the throat? Do you feel a lot of heat? Do you feel just a lot of like a bubbling? Do you feel a sharp, rigid energy? Do you feel like your energy starts to scatter everywhere? Get really specific with the sensation and with the intuitive impressions, and then draw it down to the solar plexus. Do you feel a knot in your stomach? Do you feel like your stomach starts to project forward? Do you feel like you are doing everything to hold back? What does it feel like? Then bring it down to the sacral. What do you experience at the sacral chakra? And then down to the root. What do you experience at the root chakra? So if you can backtrack, if you can follow that line of energy, then what happens is you have powerful information that will cue you into when it is that you are starting to get triggered. So that maybe you notice as you start to work with this, maybe you notice that you can connect with that throat chakra flare before you lash out verbally. So you can notice, okay, wow, I'm going there. I'm feeling this heat start to expand at my throat. and I'm about to lash out right now. So you create a buffer, you create a space, you create this opportunity to have the awareness that that is what you're doing. So then you have a choice. When you have that awareness, you create a choice for yourself to then, okay, I have the awareness and I'm going to lash out anyway, or I have the awareness and now I'm going to bring my awareness back. I'm going to bring it down. So see if you can work with this and see if you can backtrack and start paying attention to which step in that process becomes the step of opportunity for you to work with another path of energy. And can you practice bringing the tendency when you are lashing out, that's a projection forward. So there's a rising up and a projection forward. So what would be the oppositional pull? It would be back and down. So from an energetic perspective, that would be, okay, how can you bring your awareness back and activate this part of you that is more receptive and more connected with being aware and observing? And then how can you bring your energy down? How can you ground yourself? How can you start to soothe, calm, and allow your energy to find a sense of, groundedness? How do you do that? So, and this is not a perfect process, but it's one that is so essential. And just because energies are high and things are intense in the inner realms and the outer realms. And so working from a place of awareness and working with the energetics of what is going on is so powerful, because you have the ability to actively live at the center of yourself and your experience, so that you learn to orient yourself to the outside based on where you are on the inside. So if you're orienting yourself to the outer world from this place of projection, that's going to throw off where you are in every way. So we want to work with how we can access that center and engage these oppositional pulls of energy to bring us into a greater state of presence and ease and harmony. I hope that's helpful, and I would love to know from you below if you feel like sharing, what is that path of getting triggered and lashing out that you notice? Can you connect with that? Can you articulate the energy? And can you pay attention to when that surfaces for you so that you can shift the way in which you respond to situations? Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye.